Well, hello everyone. It's I, Peerless Drew, here to bring you another scintillating live stream from my desk. Just gonna dust a little. So I got a lot of grief because I didn't do a Megatron review. So here's your Megatron review. Plus, we'll go over details about Downbeat. Plus, I'm going to throw a little unboxing at you. Ooh, what could be in the box? It's from Show Z Store. I hope it's what I think it is. It'd be interesting if it was just something I didn't even order. Total surprise, but I doubt it. It's probably the thing I think it is. Hello, Shark. Helix. It's only 3. Like, I had like 8 Optimuses, but there's only so many Megatrons to discuss. And I thought I'd stick with G1, because, I mean, I could bring up Dragoon again, but I've done Dragoon recently, so refer back. Let's get Meister here out of the way. So here's the G1 Megatrons I got. I've got the just slouchy and stupid and hideous MP5. It's skinny. It transforms into a gun that's way too big. And all because they wanted it to be the same height as MP1. It's just awful. And I'm not going to transform it because I hate it. Of course, there's the delightful and wondrous MP36. Turns into pretty close to the right size gun. The way the legs get skinnier to fit together as 2 legs is pretty clever. And then one of the first videos I did was Make Toys Despotron. And he's super cool, and he has kind of a clever method for putting the legs together. You basically end up with one behind the other. But there's your comparison. Obviously, MP36 is the best one. I used to have an Apollyon. What was it? Was it X-Transbots? Gosh, maybe it was. But I had an Apollyon. I gave it to my cousin. So now my cousin has an Apollyon. A lot of people do Megatron's feet wrong because they're dumb. I just want to go over that. It bugs me. Because when you do the foot, am I in a position to do the foot right now? Maybe. So some people think they gotta hyperextend this entire thing, and they don't. That's right, because it comes loose like this. So all you have to do is rotate this out. Let me get a grip on it. But this just rotates sideways, you know? Get it in focus. It just rotates out. You never, ever have to unbend this joint. Ever. You'll see a lot of people will splay this out, and I can do it. It's not meant to. It doesn't need to. You never have to. Because when it's in gun mode, you're just... it's kind of like that, and then when you're in robot mode, you just, and it's already overbent right now. You just flip it down. It's not that hard. Refer to the stop motion video or my live. I did I transformed it in like 6 minutes live, which I don't suppose I'm going to do right now. I haven't transformed them in a while, and I'd be a little out of practice. I don't want to get the sequence wrong. I guess I could look at my own video, but I don't think the live stream should be about me watching my own videos. Maybe they should. Maybe that's like a big draw. Like everyone's like, oh my God, you should watch your own videos. You'd get thousands of viewers. But I doubt it. I somehow doubt it. But yeah, this is a great Megatron. It really captures the shape of Megatron. I mean, the back is a little iffy. It's a little cluttered. Takara has a real tendency to be like, the back. Who cares? Like this guy's a lot cleaner on the back. This is what he looks like on the back. I won't even show you what MP5 looks on the back, because if I pick him up, I'll never stand him up again. Because he doesn't stand well. He's garbage. Let's see. The Giro Tour World's Freedom Leader. Toy World's Freedom Leader. Is that the Bumblebee movie Prime? I think I have that on pre-order. It'll come out one day. I don't know. I'll probably do a stop motion on it, won't I? Something's amazing. Maybe it's the Toy World Freedom Leader. I should get the oversized version. I don't know. MP36 has some clever engineering. It really does. It really does. It is one of my favorite MPs in terms of its transformation design, because I always say transformation design instead of engineering, because engineering strikes me as being a little inaccurate. Because engineering is more like the nuts and bolts of like how the pins fit through, and like the mechanical apparatus of individual joints, not necessarily the arrangement of the joints and the whole transformation. That's more of a design problem than an engineering problem, but they'll always debate that, kind of like first party, second party, third party. The Wei Zhang, yeah, I've thought about that one. The Wei Zhang, there's a Wei Zhang Megatron. The people call it a KO. They call it like an MPKO, but it's not at all MP36. It's its own design, the Wei Zhang. It's kind of clever. The feet turn into the stock. Where can you buy an MP36? I have no idea. I think I got mine from, I want to say, maybe Chosen Prime back in the day. There's cheaper options. I think there's 3 different KOs of him, all fairly good quality, that you can get for a lot cheaper than paying for an official MP36. But I don't know that. Google it, man. I have the MPP-10 deformation error. I'm not sure which one that is. Is that maybe the one that's like an oversized MP-10? Because I gave that to the same cousin for his wedding gift. Question: for oversized figures, do you prefer Black Mamba or Wei Zhang? I don't really get into either of those. The only thing I have close to that is I have the Wei Zhang. You saw him in the Optimus Prime live stream, but he's the big evasion mode Prime. Turns into a box truck, but turns into the Bayformer. That was a really clever Hasbro design that Wei Zhang kind of improved. I discussed that in the Optimus Prime live stream a couple of weeks ago. That's probably the only oversized Wei Zhang I have. No, correction, I got, someone sent me the Wei Zhang oversized version of MPM Ironhide, and it was pretty poor build quality. It wasn't a very good figure. I was tempted by the oversized Wei Zhang Blackout. Is that his name? The helicopter from the movie, from the Bayformer movie, but I just never pulled the trigger on it. I don't really do the oversized because I buy this, or I buy like one of these, and I experience the transformation design, I experience the figure, and then I don't need to buy the Wei Zhang oversized version of it because it's basically the same transformation scheme. It doesn't really hold anything new for me. It's not really worth the money to me at that point to get that. But I can understand someone saying, well, I'm not going to get the $250 Megatron. I'll hold out for like a KO oversized version. Although, I mean, oversized you wouldn't want of him because it turns into a normal sized gun. Any oversized version would turn into a oversized gun, which doesn't make any sense. I have the Black Apple Optimus Prime. It's beautiful. Looks like it popped right out of the screen. Still just transforms just like the Semi. Yeah, the Black Apple one was tempting, even though I have MPM4 because it had some nice little improvements to it, but I just don't tend to go for those. Yeah, I figured. So here's the Megatron comparison. This one's the best one. And then this one is the second best one. He's very chunky. Make Toys makes some good stuff here and there. And he's clever the way he transforms. In fact, you know what? I'll go nuts and I'll transform him for you. I was having trouble coming up with a way to stop motion transform him, and then I had a spring break on his trigger, and I was like, well, I'm just not even going to bother with a broken figure at this point. But he's a very chunky design, and he avoids, like this one and the Apollyon that I can't show you because I don't have it. Both of those use like the fiddly little linkages, almost like the original G1 toy had like goofy little skinny linkages. I mean, what was this, designed by Fans Toys? Anyway. In fact, I'm going to take him and I'm going to put him down because he's just going to fall over anyway. So we'll transform this guy just to give you the experience. I mean, you can watch my first video. I was a little disappointed. I posted a reshoot of this guy last Sunday, and I had people going, "Oh, that's really cool." And I'm like, it's a reshoot. He was one of the first ones I ever did." And they were like, "Oh," I'm like, "People, look at my videos. They're all right there." Anyway. So we're just going to pull this hand out and separate that panel there, and we'll flip around the hand, and then we'll close all that back up and flip up the trigger, and then the whole arm goes up like this, and then like that. So you can see that's like the back of the gun. Now it doesn't make a very accurate Walther P38, but one makes allowances. Alright, so this one you have to kind of pop open and flip it around and then put it back in. I like to overextend it and then just kind of flatten it out a little bit after it's in. And again, we flip up this panel off camera like any proper live reviewer. Just do it all over here. Anyway, and then you put that in like that. You can see like you kind of get the whole gun that way. And then on the back, these panels extend, and this flips around. And how about that? You got a gun barrel. And then this one covers up on this side. So there's that. And you can't really put his head away right away because it's in the way. Trust me. I like to kind of put this back. I'm going to rotate both the legs so they're kind of facing the same direction. And then we'll get into the rest of the torso here. Now you need to pop this loose, and this slides a little, as long as you haven't put the head away prematurely. It's very important to put the head away when you're done with all the rest of the bits here. And then this turns into a zigzag, which is the hardest thing about picturing it stop motion animating. In the original video I did, I just kind of laid it down. That's how it works. It's got, I keep forgetting to put it away in robot mode, but it's got like a little socket here that flips out. It's not going to flip out now. There's a socket that flips out that this peg on the red piece goes into. So you flatten that out. And then, before you put any of the rest of this way, you can see the trigger flopping because the little spring died. But we feed this through. And then we can secure that there. See? And then this whole thing, you have to take the crotch piece, and one half of the skirt goes up. This kind of flips over, and then the crotch piece sits on top of the hips. So it kind of thins the hips a little bit to do that. So then you can put this whole thing down, and it's kind of hard to see the tabs. There's one here and one in the back there. But you tab it and tab it. And then this is better done earlier, but you can kind of jimmy it out of the way. But when it's completely flopped out, you can get this out of the way. But that's like the bottom of his chest. And then this flips down. It just makes his chest a little more 3D in the front direction. And then in gun mode, it's a little flatter. But then we can put the head away. So we flip out this panel. And the head will scratch unless you angle it the right way. But I tend to tilt it all the way sideways on its ball peg. So all the way sideways like that, as far as it'll go. Not much, but just a little bit. And that'll allow the head to clear just barely there. And then you kind of straighten the head out as you finish putting it in. And then you put this back in place. And then this that makes his shoulders symmetrical can slide back and make the gun a little, make it look like the front part of the gun is here instead of having this breaking it up. Anyway, poor little trigger. And the legs, which are so interesting, I'm just going to put the skirts up a little bit to keep them out of the way. But you can see one skirt ends up in front, where his codpiece used to be, and the other skirt just kind of goes out in the back, right there. But this was supposed to be like this in robot mode. There is no light there, I'm sorry. But you flip it down for gun mode. And then you can fold up the feet and kind of smush them up. There's not much to the feet. And then the one leg tabs into the other leg here. Just lightly, it's just a guide peg. And then you take this piece out. And this one's a little bit of a challenge. It's actually in that original video. I kind of show that you can walk this out if you do it the right way, but you kind of lift up on this edge and then this will walk out. You'll have a lot of trouble getting it to go in like straight in. So to get it in, you point it down and then you lift it up and then you can close it. So it's a little bit of a trick there. If you have this figure, you probably already know that. But you lift this out. You get the hair out of the inside of the cavity there. I don't know whether... I have 2 orange cats and orange hairs everywhere. And then you collapse the legs. You can't collapse the legs until you take that piece out. And then this lifts up into that position. I did it off camera again, I'm sorry. You can see how these guys have so much trouble. Alright, and then this... It's like a double linkages, but this transitions forward and plugs into the leg, and then in the case of both legs, there's the piece that transitions backwards. So on this side, there is no piece forwards, it's just already there, so we go backwards. And then you can tab this in right there, and then this piece goes in here. And I always forget this piece, but there's this, I don't know how to even get it out in the best of circumstances. I brought my Leatherman down here. Where is it? There it is. Sometimes it helps to have a knife blade. But there's like a little piece here that, let's see if I can show you. But you got to get under it. And it raises up. And it creates it smooths out the behind the trigger, and it also creates a place for this tab to go. And so you have to kind of walk that in there. And then the other side is a little more complicated because it's got some extra bits here, but this closes down. It's got a tab on it right there. And then when you walk this one out, you have to flip out this bit here. And then you can, this will get stuck here if you don't kind of push that crotch up, but there's a swing arm there that has to get in there. And you tab this back part here, and then you walk this in here and tab it up front, and then finally you can flip this around and tab it in, and you have kind of an ungainly, oversized version of a Walther P38. But I really like how they did the legs, you know, one in front of the other, so you can have big, thick legs, which you normally can't do by splitting them apart. But of course, Takara just knocks it out of the park by coming with a completely different way of thickening the legs with MP36, which you can see in that video. But I like Make Toys Desperatron. It's a really good rendition of Megatron. And speaking of Make Toys, I suppose we should roll through a quick this guy. We'll get to that in a second. It's so beautiful. When I got it, I cried. That's delightful. I have Desperatron. It's good quality fun figure. It really is. I mean, it's a solid Megatron. It was great. I mean, it was way better than MP5 at the time, and it was way better than Apollyon, which was just as weird as MP. Although Apollon's gorgeous in robot mode, it's just not any fun to transform. It's funny, I have 14 Transformers. Well, you gotta start somewhere. Fazbear, hey there, Peelus Drew. Which Megs is that? I don't know. I was talking about Make Toys Despotron. And then there's the rather sad MP5, whose head likes to slip down and cover his face. I'd be embarrassed too if I was him. And then, of course, we have MP36. All right. So let's transform this guy. I think this time around, as opposed to the original video had a little panache to it, but it didn't really show the transformation thoroughly, especially the arms. The arms are a little tricky because you have to move multiple things at the same time in order to get them to go in, but it is what it is. I like to have the wings at an angle. I think it's really nice that this figure has the option of having his doors as wings, because if I remember, like the original Jazz toy, the doors stuck out, maybe. But there's a little spot for them to go. They can go away all by themselves. It's nice. So we're just going to angle this up. He's got a hell of an ab crunch. We'll just use it to get his torso bent out of the way a little bit here. And you can extend this out. And then we just flip this whole bit over. And as long as the wings are in about that position, that nothing's going to collide. And then we spread these out. And here's where you get into the arms are a little tricky. So you turn the mid bicep swivel around 180 degrees and you turn the hand around 180 degrees. So it's almost like the hand doesn't move, but it's a little clearer if you do them one at a time, which is what I decided in the video. And then you flip out these forearm bits. And then I like to rock the forearm up to that position, because then we're ready. We're ready for the double move. So what's got to happen here is you need to, this is going to end up under the arm. So it's going to end up under there. But also the arm has to slide up, but there's not enough room to do it until you start kind of moving it. So you see it slid up there. And then it goes underneath fairly easily. The head's in the way. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side here. So it's just going to slide up at whatever point you can. And it fits underneath. And the hand gets twisted sideways for some reason. Anyway, and then you have that. And then the wheels come out of the way. And you're basically we're going to fold this down. We use this joint to fold it into the final robot motor. This is the first joint we folded going back to car mode. This time we're going to use the other joint further down to lay this down like that, and this can close up like that underneath. And then the wheels fit on the wheel wells. So it's a really clever way of getting rid of the wheels without having them be attached to the arms as they are with so many Jazz style figures or blue streaks. Anyway, so we're just going to get the doors kind of where they're supposed to be. Put the head down here, and then this flips up. You have to be careful untabbing these, but it's not too bad. I usually grab it like right here by the window mount. But the window does tend to come unpopped. You have to kind of pop it back in sometimes. But that's the whole front of the car. No big deal. And then we address the legs, which are pretty clever. They have some interesting twists and turns, probably not even necessary, but I like things that have maybe a little unnecessary complication without being too painful. But the feet kind of go in like that and stand up. You keep the heels out for now. And then here's a different angle than the video showed. But basically you're just walking this. There's a little bit of a swing arm right there. You're just walking this out. And you do it for both. There we go. And now we have the clearance we need to put the heel spur away and put away this piece. The repro labels that I put on it turn this piece into exhaust ports. 4 of them. I don't know if that's accurate to a Porsche, but. And then you can take this, you can retract this cowling here. It doesn't retract completely, which is maybe a big flaw with the figure, because in car mode you can still see this sticking out, but it is what it is because it only goes so far this way. But we'll just do that on both sides. It just really helps to have the whole back of the car splayed out like you see here to make room for this sort of automorph gimmick they have here. But we flip this up, and then it's basically hinged here and here, and you can see it's like a little swing arm. And this stays with the swing arm itself, so it gets rotated around 180 degrees when you do it. And then you slide this back. And then this can actually tab in to the inside of the leg. And then you can take this and kind of walk it in behind here and tuck it up underneath. And then we'll just do the same thing over here. Maybe a little less commentary, I don't know. Just turn it around, slide it back, lock it in, flip this in, bring the legs together. And then you just have to make sure that these tabs here end up behind the door panels, so it doesn't hurt to kind of widen the doors out a little bit before you go trying to put this in. But you're just trying to tab it in here and then get these two tabs on top tucked in. And there you go. Now you got a Porsche, whatever it is. Yeah, we'll get into alternators, I suppose. I don't know that I'm enthusiastic about doing stop motions of them because they have a lot of die cast, and so they're really hard to balance. But I could include them in a live stream. I might run out of things to talk about. I did mention though that I had an unboxing to do, so let's do that. That could be fun. Here's your box. Here's your box from Show's store. This is pretty typical, although it feels like there's an actual box in here this time. Usually they're shipping in like these styrofoam shells. And I don't know how they get those styrofoam shells to be like exactly around the shape of whatever box they ship, but they usually do it that way. But it looks like in this case, they shipped it in a box. But they do their best to kind of protect the internal box from damage. I think the styrofoam works really well. We'll see how this box approach works for them this time. I'm going to knock everything off my desk jiggling this thing. Let's switch to the serrated knife. Oh yeah. Of course, this has been on the road for weeks, so there's really not much chance of a virus being on it. So those of you that are paranoid about such things, I suppose you can be. I've seen videos of how the EMS or China Post handles these boxes, and you cannot expect the exterior box to make it out alive. But you can see here they've kind of saran wrapped the box. Whatever works, guys. I think they do a really good job. I've gotten stuff from China that it's obviously they didn't care. I'm just going to go off camera for a second to get rid of this cellophane. But I've gotten stuff from China that did not make it. And I appreciate Show's store's commitment to, or their acknowledgement that, you know, the shipping is not necessarily friendly from all the way overseas. Oh my God, that's a lot of cellophane. Sorry for all the noise. There we go, got rid of it. Now we're down to a box. I'm just going to slice open the box off camera too. There we go. Let's see what's in the box. Alright, as it turns out, it is not Gwyneth Paltrow's head. So that's a relief. If you haven't seen Seven, you're not getting that reference. Here's what's in the box. They bubble wrapped the interior item, which is nice. Thanks, guys. Good job. I think you can already see what this might be. This is, of course, the Incursus upgrade add-on bits. It's so hard to get these off sometimes. Let's just be aggressive. We'll be back in a second here. Oh, maybe unboxing isn't my format. I'm sorry for all the noise. All right. Okay, check it out. It's the Incursus upgrade. Let's see if someone's head is inside this. What's in the box? I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that it's the Incursus upgrade kit. Pull this out. All right. Of course, now I got to do a stop motion of this kit getting put into play. That'll be interesting. I suppose I'll have to just kind of show one booty going on one foot since I don't got the other foot. It comes with a little manual and card, which is nice. The PS14 Plus Assaultus. Assaultus is a sight to behold on the battlefield because there is always a trail of bodies lying in his destructive path. His punches cause as much damage as a giant missile warhead. A giant missile warhead, so that's a lot. And his armor is impervious to most attacks. Assaultus' one weak spot is his lack of tactical skill and intellect when it comes to making battle decisions, but he is still an asset that anyone would want on their side of the war. So here they say his strength is 10, his rank is 5, his intelligence is 3. That ain't great. His courage is 10. I mean, you got to be kind of dumb to be too courageous. His speed is 1, so you can probably get away. Firepower is 8. Endurance is 9, and skill is 6. I wonder if they cribbed that off of any official. And then we have the instructions, which is probably mostly related to how to replace the bits with the other bits. So there's the instructions. So I'll be stop motioning the instructions. I like how they tease us by having like the tank guy. Here's how you put the booty on the tank guy. Yeah, thanks guys. How about you release the tank guy? And the shuttle guy. I mean, someone's already done a review of like a production sample for the shuttle guy, so I don't understand what the slowdown is. Hopefully we'll get the other guys someday. I have faith. Just lift this off here. Take the bits out. So he comes with a nice big gun for Assaultus to use. That's nice. He comes with a new silver chest plate, a la the original toy, which I'm totally putting in place. Comes with an alternative, including silver bits for the chest piece, for Incursus. A different head, which I assume is more toy accurate, and then these chunks, which turn into boots to make the feet a little more impressive. Because the all built-in concept works really well, but the feet are a little on the small side, so it's nice to have this upgrade set to kind of clean things up and give you an alternative, give you the toy mode or the original toy sort of alternative to the pieces. That's kind of nice. Kind of nice. So there's your unboxing. I assume these pieces do something. Hey, look at that. All right. And then, okay, yeah, see? And then this flips out. Isn't this scintillating? Is exactly what you dreamed it would be. So that's the foot. And then I assume these flip out to make the foot a little wider. And then this flips around. And then these kind of hold on to the figure in some way. I think like that. So then you got a booty. You got a nice little booty, makes his feet more impressive and whatnot. So I guess on Sunday you'll see this, the application of this done in stop motion. That'll be interesting, won't it? I'd hope the set actually would come out closer to, or like after all the other ones, so I could just include it as like the final icing on the cake, like when you combine all the figures together, just go ahead and have the new booties on or whatever. But it's going to be a while before we get those other two figures, and I am honor bound to make a video for good old Shozy Store, so I'll just have to do my best to make an interesting video out of this. I mean, technically I've made a video of this now, and I've mentioned them a lot. Maybe that's enough, I don't know. I imagine all the different online retailers like them are having a tough time of it, so I want to be as nice as possible. That's shiny. Pretty cool. Alright, let's see what your comments... Someone retracted a comment. I don't know what's going on. When do you shoot this weekend? I guess I'm going to shoot this weekend, you know? I don't know. Like I said, I've kind of done a video on it now. Go to Shozy Store. I'll mention them in the replay. I had been prepping for Unique Toys take on Springer, which I've had for years. I got it on sale, and yeah, it's kind of a cool figure. I've already worked out the what do you call it, the primordial mode for it that I do for triple changers. It turns out all triple changers have a mode that's exactly in between all the other modes. Maybe I'll just do that. I have shown this, and I will show it again. I think MGO316 is jealous. I don't know why he would be. You have to tell me. I know, was it MGO that like destroyed his Devil Savior split in a fit of pique? Maybe he just needs to stay away from fancy transforming robots. I don't know. It may not have been him. I remember it was somebody. The Unique Toys Bayformer. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it, Lila? Just amazing. Best Megs MP36. The New Age. I did a video on the New Age, but yeah, the New Age Megatron is just a clever bit of work, isn't it? Yeah, Lila, that I love Unique Toys. They do a great job. They actually care what it looks like from behind, which is nice. I like how this foot bit actually can serve as a ramp for the Incursus. Because you can put this, you can kind of split Incursus's legs apart, almost like it's in combiner mode. And then these can stack up. I assume there's, yeah, you can kind of upstairs, downstairs it. There you go. So these can actually fit between Incursus's legs in vehicle mode. And you can still have like a nice ramp. Although the ramp's too narrow for anything to really, like Swindle, or whatever he's called. Fraudo can't really drive up this ramp, but it's a nice nod. They thought of it. They tried to make it useful outside of just being booties for the feet. And of course this you just replace wholesale. You just replace the whole thing. These actually flip out. Yeah, and there's actually like these pinned bits that aren't, they're easily removable, but it just allows you to kind of extract the chest a little bit to make clearance for the head. And so you're using the same pins to replace it. And then these you actually have to screw. You have to unscrew the old ones and screw on the new ones. But this gives you the silver wing pieces for combine mode. So the chest is like that. That's kind of cool. And I'm not sure what's different about the head. I don't have the other head to compare to at the moment, but they did provide for a different head. And it still has like the opening mechanism. I'm not sure how it attaches. It looks like it snaps on. I'll have to look into it. And for that matter, see if like replacing it is even worth the trouble. I'm not sure how... Oh, this one has like a different chin, I think, than the other one. Oh, and then the gun. The gun's pretty cool. Because Incursus does come with a gun, and it's got like this... yeah, even this one has it, where it's like got a handle for the Incursus and then a separate larger handle for the combine mode. But this is a much bigger gun than comes with Incursus, so it gives you a better gun for the final Assaultus combiner. That'll be nice. Did I pre-order Scrapper? You mean Scavenger and Overload? I've got Scavenger on pre-order. I'm a little on the fence about whether I want to keep going with the Devil Savior set, but I figure I'll get Scavenger, and if I hate Scavenger as much as I hated Split, then I'm just going to abandon the set. Oh yeah, Lila, Unique Toys actually cares what they look like from behind, which is rare these days. I mean, God knows Takara makes beautiful figures, but they kind of hide all the ugliness in the backpack or behind the figure. And that's a bit of a shame.
while we await any additional comments, I'll just go ahead and transform this guy back because I want to display him in robot mode anyway. Oh, come on, you. It's a tight peg. And get this out of the way. Here we go. Slide this down. And then extend the legs. Oh, I'll get this out of the way. Extend the legs. I think. There you go. One shame is that, like, this leg, when you stuff this thing in here, it kind of prevents the leg from collapsing. You know, but not completely. Like, you can kind of get in there and stop it. But they didn't really set up any mechanisms to prevent the legs from collapsing, and consequently, you leave this thing on the shelf long enough, and it turns into a short-legged version of the figure. There you go. We'll remember to flip this up this time. Pull out the feet. The heel spurs. All right. And then, get this off to the side and put the crotch in place. Here we go. Slide this out and flip out the head. It's a little fidgety, but fortunately when the gun's like this, you can actually kind of push on it from the other side. But we just want to tilt the head away so that we walk the head across so we don't get too many scratches on the top of the head. And then we can put this back. Turn the head. And I'm going to turn the legs while I have the moment. Put the hip skirt around the side here. Hip skirt around the back and fold the butt panels down. And then this goes around. Get a little further away so we don't. There we go. So maybe it's kind of in focus, you know. What do you guys say? You want it kind of in focus? Put that down. Maybe before we put it down, we get this little panel out. Then we put it down. And then I like to like this. Did I get it backwards? I got it backwards. Silly me. Well, it's still pegged in. It's easier to turn that. This goes like that. And this goes like that. And then this turns up like this. And then we tab this again because it pops loose. And then we flip this down. We flip this around, and this up, and pop this loose. And flip that all the way around. Put it back. And then zigzag this and tab it. And then he actually has little faux trigger guards that pop up just to complete the look. This hand is similar, a little bit different. Rotate this around. There we go. Put that in place. Put this down. Flip up the faux trigger. Hammer. Yeah, hammer. And then you got yourself a Make Toys Despotron, boys and girls. There we go. He can go in the back. Like I said, the legs constantly collapse, which is a bit of a bummer. I can put that away. There we go. So I find it helps to just kind of get him in an A stance and then let his own weight kind of jam the leg slides immobile. And I display this in robot mode too, so I may as well transform it back. Yeah, I had someone ask me that what scale this was, because this pin, this enormous pin, threw them off. They were like, "How big is this thing?" But no, it's just a really ridiculously big pin. All right, rotate it around, slide it, close it, slide this out. I find that I just kind of push it with this, but it'll easily slip past it, so you have to kind of torque it a little bit. But your goal is to get it to be level, and this is also your guide to when you're done, when you've lined it up right. It super duper helps to get the heel spur out before you put this back part away. Otherwise you're asking for trouble. Heel spur. This does actually have a little bit of a tab right there. You can see maybe. So it does tab. Bum, 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 bum. It's another exciting episode of Fearless Drew Plays with His Toys for his fans. I've got a little air conditioner here in my office, and I can't let it run during a live stream because it's too noisy. But boy, does it get warm in here. It's going to be really difficult during the summer. Oh, and I didn't really feature any in the video, so I may as well touch on the accessories that come with Downbeat. Let's just get MP5 in his ridiculous stupidity out of the way. And I'll show you some of the accessories that come with this guy. It actually comes with quite a few, touching on all aspects of various episodes and things that happen. So let's review. We got alternative faces. Here he's doing kind of like an Elvis smirk. It's hard to see, but he's doing kind of an Elvis smirk. And here he's going, ah! You can't really see that either. Thanks, webcam. He comes with these accessories that let you do the speakers. Those are nice. Comes with a grappling hook. Spiffy. Comes with these boombox, these speaker side skirts that you can put on his skirts. Look like speakers. Those are nice. Comes with his little rifle. And it comes with his shoulder cannon. So there you go. He comes with a bunch of accessories. Plus I have like a bunch of leftover Repro label stickers that I didn't end up using on him. Because they give you a lot of options when you get the Repro labels. Because the original him, here's a picture of what he looked like. You can see he's pretty unadorned. His stripes were, these are Repro label stripes that included the Autobot sticker. So like the stripe down the car was very plain, and there was no other stickers, nothing at all. So everything you see here was like Agent Meister and Shell and Martini Racing and Martini Racing. All that is repro labeled, including the silver stickers that go on his shins to make them silver and fancy. One of the few times I got repro labels, and I was happy with it. The new one apparently is going to be a little more pre-painted, so you might not have to put as many repro labels on the new one. The MTRM09R that's coming out. And it's funny because I decided to reshoot this guy before that was announced over the week. So it turned out to be a pretty timely video. Let's catch up on comments. Yeah, can't wait to get Devil Savior. That's fun. Make Toys Megs. MP36 is the ultimate Megatron for me. You know, it's got the complexity I crave, and in the silhouette of him, I mean, he looks like Despotron looks a little beefy, you know, and his face is a little derpy. But this thing nailed it. Like, his face looks perfect. Everything's perfect, except maybe the back. But how many people display their figure backwards? I don't know. Plus, I think someone made like an add-on kit that plugged in here and smoothed out his back. So, if it drives you crazy, you can get that, I guess. I also have G1 Devastator Masterpiece Oversized. I'm 4'9" and he is up to my hip. G1 Devastator Masterpiece. G1 Devastator. You'd have to tell me which Devastator that is. Are you talking about Toy World's Devastator? My mom was in shock when I brought him to the living room in combiner mode. You got to be talking about Toy World, right? That's the biggest Devastator I can think of. He's even bigger than the oversized Jin Bao, so. Have you thought about getting the steam locomotive Bumblebee? Like from that old series? Who made that? I have not thought much about that. These pieces are so shiny. So fun. It's cool how they turn the boot into a box. Pretty clever. I like that. MMC Ocular Max. They know what they're doing. They aren't messing around or nothing. There it is. Yeah, the more I fiddle with this, the more I think this doesn't need its own stop motion video. So maybe next week I'll do my live stream. I'll do like a video on this where I show me putting the pieces on the figure or something. Because it just doesn't make sense for a stop motion video. Yeah, the Steamboat Locomotive Bumblebee was the same company that made like a Steam Locomotive Optimus, and they also made like a remember the Monitor and Merrimack from Civil War lore, the pseudo submarines. They were almost submarines. The ironclads that they used. It looked like the Merrimack, the one that had more above the water parts. But that one turned into Shockwave, I think. Favorite Transformer of the last 2 years? Goodness gracious, 2 years. Favorite? I don't know. I mean, someone asked me the other day what my favorite Unique Toys was, and I had to give it to Peru Kill for being kind of the OG, like the original amazing Unique Toys Bayformer. I really like Dragoon, and I really like MP44 Optimus is really solid. People bitch about it, but it's so clever and interesting. Gonna give it to MP44. It was clever and interesting and looks exactly like the cartoon from the front. Yeah, there's been a lot of figures. Nothing here is in the last 2 years. All this stuff is older stuff. Why are you crooked, man? There you go. I feel like we're winding down. I ran out of things to show you. So we'll put out a call for final comments. Call it the 2-minute warning that usually turns into a 5-minute warning, but still, here's your warning. Get your comments in. I will respond to them. Iron Factory? Do I have any Iron Factory? You have the oversized Blackout, the one from Weijing. That's a, or Black Apple, I guess. But that was an interesting figure. I like that design, the Studio Series design, but I didn't get that because it's just basically the same thing bigger with some of the hollow bits filled in with panels. It's nice. Size comparison of what? I don't have the oversized Blackout myself. You have to get someone else to do a size comparison. Here's these figures compared to a Leatherman. There you go. That's what a Leatherman looks like. Size comparison. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll just next Wednesday, I'll be on call. It'll be hell. But I'll do a side. I'll do like a little live stream on this figure, on this add-on kit. That way I meet my obligations, and I also feature the figure and give a little promotional thing to Show Z store. And Black Optimops is hard to transform, very complex and beautiful, where he is in truck mode and robot mode. No, he looks nice. And, I mean, he's a lot like MP4, so you could probably look at my MP4 video for, like, sequencing tips. But he does have a few differences, especially on his back. I believe that's the one with, like, the wheels that kind of expand, pop apart. That's kind of cool. All right, folks. Wow, we hit a peak of 19 concurrent viewers at one point. How exciting. Now it's down to the core 8. Yeah. All right, we're coming to an end of the stream. I covered some Megatrons for you. We talked about the recent Downbeat video and did a live transformation of that. We touched on these fancy schmancy add-on parts for Incursus. And we're heading out. So, yeah, everyone be safe. Don't touch your face too much or something. I don't know. There's your advice. Stay inside and play with your Transformers. It's fine. And I'll talk to you guys next week. What's the worst Megas I've ever had? I think I touched on that. MP5 is the worst Megas I've ever had. It's garbage. I hate it. There's your answer. Worst Megs. MP5. Good night, everyone.